Hello, and welcome back to the Crown Sessions, where passion, knowledge, and development thrive. I am your self-care sister, Shana, and today we are going to go into our first part in our series on budgeting. Start off this series on budgeting, talking about my personal experience. So I got out of college, usually around the same age, 22, and I was looking for my first job. I ended up being an intern for a major retailer, and it was a paid internship, but it wasn't making very much money, and I also didn't have a very clear understanding of money in general. What it is, what it takes to actually build wealth, how to actually budget my life and where I was. And it took me a very, very long time to really understand what I needed, what it took, and for me to even make enough money to sustain. So I graduated college right when the last recession hit, in 2008 and 2009. And at that point, there was so much job loss, the economy went down, the housing market went down, and it was just so much going on that the availability of me coming out of college for an incredible career was so few and far between. So I ended up having to take on this paid internship to possibly lead to a management position. And I ended up being in that internship for about a year. There was still no forward movement. I didn't really understand how to get to that next role. And I also didn't understand anything. I was an entry-level person, right? I didn't understand management. I didn't understand what salaries were. So a lot of what I was getting was kind of trial by error. I ended up very early on in my career having to do 2 jobs at the same time, which I did, just to make enough to pay my bills. So a lot of people have this idea once you're out of college and you're like, yep, I'm making a lot of money, I'm gonna be something. And then the reality hits of, I just finished college. I now have a mountain of student debt that I need to start paying almost immediately, right? And then I also need to fund living on my own. At the time, I was living with my parents for about a year or 2 in my transition because of the recession, and I wasn't making enough money. And I remember as I was working these 2 jobs just to make ends meet, to cover the bills that I had for my credit card debt, which was a big part of the problem because I also didn't understand credit cards. So in college, I worked 3 jobs just to get through and be able to pay for what I needed to pay for. And in that, of course, as a full-time college student, you're not making that much money either. So I use credit cards for a lot of things, right? And once I'm out of college, I now really am not making very much more money than I was in college. And I have a mountain of credit card debt and now a huge mountain of student loans. So all of this stuff is what I was basically trying to pay back. And at that time, I think I didn't have very many more bills other than like my car insurance and gas, getting back to work, but I was also commuting at the time. And that's when gas prices in California were like over $4 a gallon. So I legitimately only had enough to pay those few bills. If I did not live with my parents, I would have been screwed at that point. And looking back at what happened, I was like, wow, so many people deal with this exact same thing. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? And what are students coming out of college supposed to do or think or have a plan for? Because I didn't really have a financial plan. At what point are you taught about money? Some people get it from their parents. I wasn't that lucky. My parents were never pros at money. And I didn't really understand what I needed to be able to live, essentially, right? So I'm in my early 20s, I'm making almost no money, working 2 jobs in the middle of a recession, and I'm stressed. When I mean, at that point in my life, I was so stressed. And this was about a full 2-year run of me doing this. And it was like, wow, I really was so ignorant about budgeting money and what to do. So me sharing that story with you was kind of to give you a little bit of a background on how a lot of people start out right outside of college, or even if you don't go to college and you go from high school directly into a job. There's never a sit down discussion about money, what you need to live successfully, what to think about as far as retirement's concerned. What does a real at-home budget need to look like realistically in the current time that you're living? So I want to be able to provide that for you and help you outline your lifestyle budget. So in this series, we're going to be going through a personal budgeting plan. I'm going to be providing some videos on how to budget out your bills, your expenses, how to pay off debt, as well as how to be able to save. Now, it's going to be a 3-part series. This is part 1 of just a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about, giving you a little bit of my backstory. And I'm going to be providing a template on thecrownsessions.com that you can utilize that will be shown in videos 2 and 3 that you can purchase, which isn't going to be very much. And you can walk through and start building your budget with me. I want to be able to start this level of detail with you guys in planning, and budgeting was literally the first thing on my mind. I was like, this is exactly where we need to start together for us to be able to get on the right path to where we want to go, right? So we need to really understand what your income is. We need to be breaking down your paychecks, and we need to be understanding fully where all of our money is going, right? Every single penny, what's coming in and how much is going out. So please make sure that you guys go ahead and like this video if you like this content, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified when we upload our next course. And please comment below. I do want to hear a lot of your stories as well, and what you've dealt with, because we're all in this together, right? We're creating a community that's going to be talking to each other about all of these things that we face. We're going to unveil, pull back the curtain, and have real discussion and conversation. And I'm going to be able to guide you guys into getting the life plan together for yourself. And we're going to start with talking about money. I don't want you guys to have to go through all of the ups and downs and struggles that I had to go through to be able to get to this point. And if you've already gone through the struggle and you're still in the middle of that struggle, I'm going to be able to help you reorganize yourself and get you guys on the right track. So remember, self-care starts with you, and if you nourish it, I promise you, you are going to flourish. I will see you next time.